I just realized something, Jamie.
What's that?
Every single time, can I just have my water? Every single time someone mentions anything disparaging or negative about this content,
Okay.
which is an actual legal process,
Yeah.
they just show how old, archaic, and obsolete their way of thinking is. So for example,
Okay.
for every lawyer that says, well, your YouTube channel, they're just really old.
Yeah.
They're old and they're not young parents. They don't see that kids only watch this type of content. They don't really understand that the way of the future is human beings that are able to use facts and the Constitution and not buying their way out of a conflict is the way of the future.
Just them lawyering us, telling us that
they
it's
just
not the
prove it.
future.
They're just proving
We just want to
our point.
lawyer you to that you
And
don't.
on that note, I believe that I have proven, and that's where like the burden of proof, that's why when Your Honor, Judge Sherwood said, Reese, the burden of proof is on you, and that's why the videos are so important, that these videos, for example, my name is Dan Reese, I'm swearing myself in so I can give testimony. This is Jamie Resnick. You don't need to spell my name. It's on the
Whole truth,
bottom.
nothing but the truth. So
Reese-
help me God.
Swear in like a little formally. We have a lot of respect for the courts and the law and the human beings that are a part of it that are not judges. And we're in agreement that we have a good judge that we believe made a huge mistake. And that's where the issue with judges really comes in, is that they do not apply ab initio to their own decisions.
Sometimes I feel it's like,
So that's why I invented
I
ab
agree.
initio.
I like ab initio.
Ab initio is a portmanteau and a crunch of infinity and ab initio. And ab initio is really what the entire sum of the word is, because what is ab
Infinity
initio?
or over
What?
the end? Isn't fin the end?
Yes, it's the end, because it's only applicable to the final state of the argument. So for example, off camera you ask, why are you talking about your in-laws? That is because I don't want to have a conflict with them. I like a world where I can get along with them. They are good people.
I agree.
They are good to my
Yeah.
kids. They are just not very nice to me, but that is something that apparently I brought upon myself by filming this content. And if you apply ad finitio, it really is the end of the argument, because what did I tell you off camera? Do you remember?
That if it wasn't for
If we didn't live in a world where text messages were
Yeah.
forever and read, so like if we were communicating and I could talk what I was saying,
right,
time would pass and their memories would fade. And they wouldn't be as upset as they
you'd
are.
have a
if
fight
they-
and move on.
Right. Then there is this content that only exists because it's a timeline where public voice is public. So for me to make the most intense private public channel, and I say this because I am very proud of the people that have subscribed, because they're not only real, they are people with emotions. So people that are watching this either hate me or love me, but
Right.
they're capable of emotions. The people that are indifferent to me are not functioning. They don't have, like, say what you will about Harris Palmer. The reason why he hates me so much is the same reason as why people love people. It's a 4-letter word that convicts have tattooed on their knuckles, because it is the balance of life. So if you're a human being that actually has expressed any form of negative emotion towards me, all you're doing is telling me that you love me. That's all it is. And that's why this video is for my in-laws, because they actually do care about me, but they're not able to express it because I have created such an intense set of circumstances for their anxiety to spike
Yeah.
that they don't give themselves a chance to watch the content and say, hey, if he's not lying, then our daughter is married to one of the smartest men in the world, who actually is extremely brave and extremely dedicated and not at all what we thought. Or they can watch this content and say, this is disgusting, all you're doing is lying, but I'm not lying. I'm genuinely saying that when a family is able to come together, they're a lot more, much more powerful, much stronger, much happier, but in my set of circumstances, I've actually taken the time to select these people so that they're able to watch something like this and say, we're not going to talk about this content, but we will think about this content.
Okay.
Does that, you understand?
Yeah,
And my goal is that hopefully both my wife and my brother-in-law are able to have a conversation and say, Dan is right. It's something that they never say. And
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, like if we were in the 80s, this would never happen. If we lived in the 70s, this would
Yeah.
never happen.
Oh.
But because we're transitioning from a time where the written word is serious and taboo to a time where children only receive content in a digital form.
Right.
So the concept
Yeah.
is just, the children that will laugh at paper haven't been born yet. Do you understand? But they will be. And they will look at all this
Paper.
and they will say, oh my God, I can't believe that the actual attorneys were putting down the future.
Right.
Human beings that are designed to take an oath and be honorable are actually testifying and
Right.
lying on behalf of their clients and themselves via papers, not via digital evidence
Yes,
or
via
actual,
papers.
only papers.
Yeah.
So when
On the
Timmy
paper.
Dugan says, we have a perfected lien and judgment, that it's only because he dealt with corrupt judges.
Right.
So when it's public in this form, let's see if Timmy Dugan is able to win based on fraud. And I don't think that they will. You know why? Because I don't believe that we're dealing with a bad human being. I believe that Judge Sherwood would really be committing career suicide.
Who?
Judge Sherwood.
Oh, no, he's not a bad human.
No, he's not a bad guy. And I also believe that he's a human being that lives in the real world. I think he's a humble man. I don't think that he even tries to humble himself, but he's a federal judge at the highest standing, so he could save all that bullshit for someone else that doesn't understand the pecking order. And the pecking order is very simple. It's a bunch of chickens that peck for money. So when the money is gone, the attention is gone. So the fact that we are actually still fighting about this means the money is far from gone.
Right.
That's all I have to say. It's
That's
far
true.
from gone. It's actually right there, including the claims and everything else that I'm owed. And that's what people are fighting for. And that is why what is happening to me is fully illegal, immoral, and unprecedented. Because never in the history of our humanity have any of these guys been caught. And that's what that little symbol is. I got you. Got you. So whenever I do that, it means I got you. Or someone else got you. That's even worse. But I got you. And I got you guys, and I got you guys because of your hubris, you're arrogant, and I really got you
You
because
got him. You busted him.
you're busted. Shakedown,
Yeah.
breakdown. Look, the reason why I got you is because of the scene. You never saw me coming. You saw the lack of behavior. I don't behave. You know why I don't behave, Jamie? Because I am not treated with respect that I deserve. I saved the fucking country close to 20 times at this point in public. And I barely have a thank you. The police department in my local town realized that I will give my life up to strangers. So at least I have that going for me.
Well,
You
you
know,
also have a physical reaction when they lie in court.
oh, I can't be around humans that lie. I'm
Yeah,
a human lie detector,
you
and
are.
it's nauseating for me. So I can only imagine what it's like to be a human that actually like preps themselves to lie in my presence. And you know why? Because lies are really dangerous, they're really unhealthy, and they stem from a very dark place. So rather than addressing the lies, address the dark place. And that will help people to address the lies. And my dark place was, I'm a federal agent that's pretending to be a criminal for 2 decades, and I lost track of what's really important and what's not, because I was so wrapped up in an awesome life that is the end result of a human being who works really hard. Because no matter what you say about my mental state or anything like that, I'm a really hardworking guy and I love my
Right.
family.
You
And I
are.
don't understand what else a man needs to be able to do well other than those 2 things. I don't hurt a single person.
You're just very outspoken.
I'm not only outspoken, the things that I say are true. And they're things that nobody wants to discuss.
Right.
And the reason why nobody wants to discuss them is because the people that are in power would lose their power since it's an illusion. An illusion is very simple to break. So for example, you've got judges, they're
Yep.
sitting on the bench. Dan Reese is filming a YouTube video. I'm not saying to absolve the courts. I'm saying to fire 7 human beings. That will be replaced by hundreds of human beings that can easily do the job of what one ChatGPT app should be able to pump out based on the facts that are presented before it. Give a mathematical analysis to blah, 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 and write it or whatever. That should be the standard. Not an actual company like OpenAI, but a government-based artificial intelligence that assists judges and attorneys with presenting their evidence.
Okay.
Because, for example, one of the judges that I'm very much outspoken, needs to resign yesterday, is Judge Esther Salas.
Yes.
Apparently, Judge Esther Salas has a caseload of 400 cases, including 40 criminal cases. Do you believe that the coincidence of 440 falls exactly perfectly?
Perfect.
And the reason why I say this is, how can a human being who not only lost her child, but I have proven is so corrupt that she did it publicly, be able to do 40 cases, let alone 400?
Yeah.
400!
That's not.
400 cases!
That's not
You know
right.
why? Because she's a friendly judge to attorneys. And that's the scary part. And that should be scary to any person that lives in New Jersey.
That is.
That a woman who is grieving in tragedy has a caseload of 400 cases, including 40 criminal cases, which she can easily, when she is brought up on charges for what she has done, she'll be like, I'm sorry, I had a mental breakdown, I shouldn't have 400 cases, but there was no issue until I started filming these videos. So the entire concept of exposing these judges would be ab initio had I not filmed this content that is not able to go viral. But anyone that is wondering, that has ever been a party to a case where a judge is literally not paying attention to the facts, but
Yeah.
only waiting for you to finish speaking, for you, I have done the impossible. I have caught not one, not two, but 7 judges being a part of intense criminal conspiracies that are at the heart of a $100 million portfolio.
That is true.
Do you understand?
I do.
And punitively, as well as damages. For example, I was defrauded when gold was at $800 an ounce.
Okay.
That means that my equity of what my mother took was approximately $6 million. Do
Okay, right.
you know how much gold is an ounce right now?
I don't.
$3,000.
Really?
That's right.
Wow.
So by applying ab initio and saying, had she not taken this, what would be the value of the estate? One can easily calculate that, hey, this is what would happen
Yeah.
in identical circumstances had the actions not been systemically ignored by law enforcement. And that's where the actual argument comes in. That's where the legal argument comes in.
Okay.
That is why someone like myself is so infuriating to everyone, because at the end of the day, you can't beat my numbers. So unless you're able to do more than one motion at a time, I highly recommend that the courts listen to every word that I have to say and really digest it to a form where they're able to apply it to the facts of the case and not to their emotional state of fear that is immediately spiked when a human being blows a whistle. I am protected by hundreds of whistleblower laws and acts that have been designed for human beings like me that are victims of crime to be able to disseminate the truth publicly. So no one has anything to worry about. No one gives a shit about anything that I say that is a fact, and if it's proven. The second I say one lie, this channel is over. Peace.